What's going on, Browns fans? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm Matthew Peterson. And today's show, we're looking ahead. We're looking at some potential draft targets in the first round for the Browns. I love the NFL draft. I think it's one of the best sporting, I guess we'll call it event every single year. It's always fun, and it's always a very fun build-up to that process. So, with that said, let's check out some Browns notes here on the draft coming up. They have the 13th overall pick in the NFL draft. So, in the top half, you're starting off a good point right there. I think the team's biggest need, though, is by far wide receiver. You could ask someone that just watched one or two games or watched every snap this year, and they'd probably tell you they need a lot of help at wide receiver. Now, if they don't want to go wide receiver, or let's say a handful of wideouts are picked before the Browns, maybe they go on the interior defensive line, depending on also what the Browns do in free agency. So stay tuned later on in the video for a fun D lineman the Browns could pick. But I want to know this from you guys. Who do you want the Browns to draft? Let me know if you've got a favorite name, someone you've watched all year long in the college ranks that you would love to see wearing brown and orange. Let me know in the comment section down below. On to the draft targets. I've got them ranked 5 through 1. First one is the wide receiver Treylon Burks. He comes out of Arkansas, and he has been just awesome to watch this year. If you caught much SEC football this year, it'd be hard to miss this guy. Burks putting up phenomenal numbers, over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, and when you look at what he does very well, he's got a nice combination of size and speed. He's 6'3", but he moves very quickly. Is he the fastest wide receiver in this draft class? No, but he's still exceptionally fast for his speed. But I do think that knocks him down a couple points in the rankings, and that's why I've got him at number 5. But let me ask this question to you guys, all right? If you love mock drafts, which I do, I eat them up, consume them up, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then this is the channel for you because it's off-season, baby. So we're going to be talking about free agency and a ton of mock drafts. So subscribe to the channel if you have not already, if you just want more Browns mock drafts to see what direction Cleveland could go. Number 4, another wide receiver. I think you're going to notice a trend here. It is Drake London coming out of Southern California. London was really fun to watch this year when he was out there. Now, he did suffer a season-ending ankle injury in early November, but he's a tall cat. He's at 6'5", but very speedy, and that's why he gets a little bit ahead of Traylon Burks because his size, a little 2 inches taller than Burks, and this is the draft we're talking about, so you know they're nitty-gritty about that stuff. But he's still very, very fast. He could play from the slot, and that's a direction you are seeing NFL teams go. They want to see guys that can play inside and can move very quickly in the seams and kind of abuse the linebackers and the safeties who have to cover them. If I had to compare him to an NFL player, I would look at Chase Claypool. Claypool maybe doesn't play as big as he is, but he's 6'4", 230 pounds. Kind of reminds me of what London could be. So that's kind of a rough idea. Now, look at the wide receiver depth chart for Cleveland. And this is just an obvious room that needs to be upgraded. Landry has a big cap hit next year. I would not guarantee, I wouldn't put my life on it, that Jarvis Landry will be a Cleveland Brown next year. I'd like to see him back, but I don't know if it's a guarantee. DPJ, training camp hero, but then he kind of fell off. Had some great moments, but I don't think he's wide receiver 2 material. Same for Higgins. And then Schwartz, that's the 3rd-round pick last year that missed a lot of time this year, never really got going. So I think the Browns got to go and try and improve that room quickly. It's all about college draft here, all about the NFL draft, all about college players. Shout out your college team. Who is your favorite team to watch for on Saturday? No doubt, tons of Buckeye fans here in Browns country. But let me know. Personally, I'm a big Tennessee fan, went there for college, so I go Vols all the way, although they have not been very fun to watch, except for this year. They're a little up this year. But let me know. Shout out your college team down below. Number 3, speaking of the Buckeyes, it is Chris Olave. Speedy number 2. He is very, very fast, and that's why I got him at number 3 because there's, like I just mentioned, you're seeing a trend of teams wanting to go with speed, and he's got elite speed. In fact, that's his biggest strength. He doesn't have the best go up, climb a tree, and get the ball. At 6'1", good height, but not phenomenal height. However, he's phenomenal after the catch, and he kind of reminds me of Deebo Samuel. Now, it's a tough comparison because Deebo Samuel, it can be used in a variety of ways. We've seen Samuel in the backfield. We've seen him all over the field. I think Olave could be that kind of guy where you can put him anywhere you want, really, and he'll find a way to get the football. And when he gets the football, he is just, wow, watch him after the catch. That's his greatest strength. He takes some short screens, and he goes the distance with it. Before we get to number 2 and 1 on my list, guys, look at this awesome t-shirt combo deal going on with our friends at Fanatics. It's 25% off, $37 when you go to chatsports.com/BrownsT. I also have that link in the comments and the description of this video. You get 2 t-shirts for where a lot of places charge you the price of one. Love the elf, love the Cleveland football. Get the long sleeve, get the short sleeve combination over at Fanatics. Have to use that link, chatsports.com/BrownsT. Number 1 on my number two, I got ahead of myself. Garrett Wilson. I'm just excited for number 1. But back-to-back Ohio State players. I think these two are a little bit interchangeable depending on where you go for draft coverage. I'm sure you will find places that have Olave ahead of Wilson. I just like Garrett Wilson a little bit more. But stack them up head-to-head this year, and there's a reason why Ohio State had a lot of talent at the wide receiver position. These guys just went off, right? Over 1,000 yards for Wilson and nearly 1,000 for Olave. Simply put, there was not enough time and football to go around to distribute the wealth enough to both of them, because if Olave is not on this team, you see Wilson's numbers probably go way up, and same for Olave if Wilson's on this team. But looking at some more Garrett Wilson notes here, I think he is the complete package in a lot of ways, okay? He does a lot of things very well. If you want to evaluate a wide receiver, look at what they do before the catch, during the catch, and then after the catch. Wilson is one of the best route runners in this draft class. During the catch, he can make the catch from anywhere on the field pretty much. What do I mean by that? He can be a threat in the red zone. He can help you out the line of scrimmage on screens. He can go down and sit in the middle of the field, take a hit, and get up and move the chains for your team. Great speed and route running. Kind of reminds me of Stefon Diggs a little bit. Stefon Diggs, very fast. Maybe not the best red zone target, right? There's Mike Williams in the NFL, DeAndre Hopkins, that can really go up, climb a tree, and come down with the football. But somewhere around that neighborhood, I think Garrett Wilson is just a little bit ahead of Chris Olave, just because of his ability after the catch and his overall completeness. I just don't think that in Olave, but Olave is still phenomenal. I'd be very happy if Chris Olave was at Cleveland Browns next year. Before we get to number 1, let's say the Browns don't go wide receiver, because this entire mock draft has been wide receivers. Let's say they want to go a different direction, or let's say all the wide receivers they like get picked before them. What about this guy from Georgia? What about Jordan Davis? My God. Okay, number 95. That's not the guy on the left. That's not the huge number 99 you see. Number 95 on the right of your screen, that guy is 6'3" and 315 pounds, and he looks like a mouse next to Jordan Davis. So I would love to see Jordan Davis be a Cleveland Brown if they don't go wide receiver, or maybe they sign Devontae Adams in free agency. They don't need to draft a wide receiver. That's my number 1 target if that is the case. But let me throw this to you. Should the Browns draft a wide receiver? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Very curious what you guys have to say. I think it's kind of the unanimous decision that the Browns should go that route in the draft. But let me know. Maybe you got a different thought. Love to hear it in the comment section below. Number 1 on my list, and it's a bit of an asterisk, but it is Jameson Williams. Could have been 3 straight Ohio State players. Imagine if Williams stays in Columbus. But Jameson Williams, coming out of Alabama, this year he was the best wide receiver in football. I don't think there's much argument. You look at his numbers this year, 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns. He was the best deep threat in football, but he was not just a one-trick pony who could go deep once a game and then call it a day. He could do everything for this Crimson Tide team. However, as you probably all know after watching the national championship game, Williams is coming off a torn ACL. Now, the doctors say he's supposed to make a full recovery, and it won't impact his sub 4.3 40 time. But it's still a little, I wouldn't say worrisome, because this is 2022. Doctors are pretty good at their job, and knee injuries aren't as catastrophic as they used to be. Players bounce back from them all the time. In fact, You probably wouldn't even think of this, but like Tom Brady, he tore his ACL in the middle of his career. You never really think of Tom Brady as a guy who had a knee injury, or Drew Brees had major shoulder surgery, and he was still fine throwing the football. So I'm not all that concerned about that, but I think it's worth mentioning, and I think the Browns will do a ton of homework on this guy and on the surgery and his recovery afterwards. But who is your favorite wide receiver from this class? You saw 5 of them right there. Let me know. Maybe I'm missing one. Maybe David Bell from Purdue. There's some guys, Dotson from Penn State, couldn't get him on this list. But let me know who your favorite wide receiver in this class is, and I'll talk to you guys later here on the Cleveland Browns Report.